Hello guys and welcome back to my worker empire. Today I'm going to be talking mostly about what I did with my setup on the Calpheon side. So I'm going to be talking about what nodes you need from the Calpheon area and how to prepare to craft Calpheon crates in order to stack them up for when you actually get to Master 2 trading level so you can actually trade those crates. Before I get into that, I want to quickly recap what happened on the previous episode, because there may be people watching who didn't see the previous episodes recently. So if you followed me so far, then you should have all of the beer nodes that you need in order to keep your workers fed, and on top of that you should have the copper and iron ore nodes and maple and ash timber nodes, and with these 4 different types of materials you could either stack them up for the future or you could already start to make some junk crates with them. These are basically all of the materials that I think you should get from Velia and Serendia areas, so basically around Hytale and Velia cities. Once you have those, you should start to connect to the Calpheon area in order to prepare to actually make the useful crates. Also keep in mind that I'm not trying to show to you what is the best worker setup. I'm just trying to explain how I built my own worker setup and what I'm currently using. So for example, if you want to see what mistakes I did, then probably reading the comment section is the best way to go, because other people will point out my mistakes. So just keep that in mind. So let's start talking about the Calpheon side. First off, what I did and what you probably also should do is to just connect to the Calpheon city. After that, the main materials you want to have are the ones required to make Calpheon crates, because all of the materials for the Calpheon crates are on the Calpheon territory, and most of what you want to collect from here is of course just for that. I would say that normally you should go for the junk crate materials first and then get the Calpheon crates materials, but in my case I would just go for the other way around, because I noticed lately that even if I have all of the Calpheon crate materials, I still cannot process and keep on making Calpheon crates because I run out of materials. My logic goes like this: even though you only have 4 different materials so far to make junk crates, I would say that you should get those materials for the Calpheon crates as soon as possible. Even though you are not yet Master 2 trading, you still can craft those Calpheon crates and stack them up for the future for the day you actually get to Master 2 trading. So basically you can make the same amount of profit, but the only difference is that you cannot trade those crates. So you're going to have the same amount of profit, but it will just stay in that bank and you're not going to be able to use it until you hit Master 2. For those of you who don't know what I am talking about, basically once you get to Master 2 trading, you can get a desert buff that gives you another 50% on your crate prices. So the difference in profit is pretty big comparing Master 1 to Master 2. My personal choice is to just start making as many junk crates as possible while also making Calpheon crates. So I'm going to trade in all of my junk crates until I get to Master 2, and until I get there I'm not going to trade any of my Calpheon or Media crates. Now let's get back to talking about what nodes I connected. So first off, once I got to Calpheon, I started to connect that northern wheat plantation first, because I wanted to have the extra cooking materials. Once I got the 2 nodes for wheat and barley, I started to move forward to get the actual Calpheon crates materials. From here you could also pick the paprika node, but in my opinion it is pretty useless. I just picked it to have another material for cooking to stack on. To craft the Calpheon crates, you need 3 different types of timber: birch timber, fir timber and cedar timber, or cheddar timber, however it is pronounced. For each of these materials, there are 3 different nodes that you can gather, so in total there are 9 nodes that you need specifically to craft the Calpheon crates. So let's start with the first 3 birch timber nodes. Once you get to that northern wheat plantation, on the east of that there is old dandelion node, and on that one you have your first birch timber node. Once you get this one, moving north of the northern wheat plantation, you have Birch farm, which needs to be connected first, and after that you have Birch ruins. Here you have your second birch timber node. After you get this one, we move back to Calpheon, and from here we connect first abandoned land, then we have that isolated sentry post, and lastly we get the Quaint Hill, which has the third birch timber node. This one of course is a little bit more expensive, considering that you need 2 different nodes before that, but you still need to connect those nodes if you want to go to Etheria port, so you need those nodes anyway. One thing I noticed about Birch ruins and Quaint Hill was that my goblin workers from Etheria port were actually faster than the ones from Calpheon. This may have been because of different skills, but at least Quaint Hill seemed to be faster if it was farmed from the Etheria port instead of the Calpheon area. But I would still suggest you get all these 3 nodes from Calpheon, first off because you want all those 3 nodes to give you all the birch timber in just one location, instead of having to transport it from Etheria port, and also because you want to save the Etheria port workers to actually make your crates. Next up we have the fir timber nodes. So from Calpheon we move south, going through 2 different nodes, and we get to Phoenix Cabin, where here we have the first fir timber node. After that we go west through 3 other different nodes, and we get to Mancha Forest, which has the second fir timber node. Moving south of that, we get first the abandoned monastery node, and from that we go west and get the Trent Forest node. This one has the last fir timber node, so with this one we have all the 3 fir timber nodes. The last material for Calpheon crates is Cedar timber, and the first node for this one is Lumberjack's resting area, which is just a bit south of Trent Forest. Basically it's right near Trent. And from Trent we go east and we get to Longleaf Tree Forest, and this one has the second Cedar timber node. To get the third and last Cedar timber node, we go back up to Calpheon from the path we used to connect from Heidel, and we have Oze Pass, which has the last Cedar timber node. So again, with this one we have all the 3 Cedar timber nodes, and in total we should have all the 9 nodes we used to craft Calpheon crates. If you followed me so far, then at this point you should have 2 more nodes for beer, which are at the northern wheat plantation, and of course all of the materials needed to start crafting the Calpheon crates. Also, the main reason why you would want those extra materials for beer is because beer is probably one of the best ways to get even more contribution points, because by cooking beer for your workers you're going to get those byproducts and you can trade those in for contribution points. So at this point, getting more nodes on the Calpheon area would matter a lot on how many workers you actually have, because the rest of the nodes that I'm going to show are of course for other junk crates. I want to mention that I probably have more workers than most people have, so that's why I'm probably able to get those extra junk crates, because back when there was the anniversary event, there were some coupons to get 20% off on the Pearl shop, and I used those to get my processing costume, and with the leftover I got as many lodgings as I possibly could. So for Calpheon I have all of the lodging, which means that I have 3 extra workers in Calpheon and 3 extra workers in Trent that I am actually using. This of course can easily be fixed if you want to spend more contribution points to get even more lodging inside of Calpheon, so that really shouldn't be a big problem. I personally also invested in some of the Valencia grinding spots, so if you don't get those, then you should have the contribution points you need for those extra lodging spaces. To actually show you the Calpheon lodging, the houses that I'm showing right now are the ones that I'm currently using inside Calpheon for lodging, and in my opinion those are probably the best ones you can start with. I will probably also have to get more lodging in the future, but for now this is what I am using. Now, to talk about those other junk crate nodes, there really aren't that many. Basically, from the Calpheon area, I'm only collecting tin ore to make tin crates inside the Feria port. So there are 3 more nodes that you can get if you want to make even more junk crates. The first tin ore node is at Bear Riverhead. The second one is at Rutum Outpost, where we passed the first time to get to the fur timber nodes, and the third tin ore node is at Kuruto Cave. So with these you should basically be where I am at the moment, if you exclude the other nodes that I have laying around, like for example the Berniato farm node, which basically just gives you some powders and other junk items. You don't really have to get that one. Of course, I am pretty sure that on the Calpheon area there are other nodes that you could connect to make even more junk crates. But for now, this is what I could achieve with my current contribution points. I am pretty sure that my setup is pretty efficient because, at least on the Calpheon side, I don't see any other way to connect the nodes that I already have in a more efficient way, to actually use less contribution points. So basically, to make a quick recap, on the Calpheon side I have 3 tin ore nodes that I'm using to craft even more junk crates in a Feria port, and all of the other nodes are just simply 2 more cooking nodes and a paprika node that I don't really use, and the rest are the Calpheon timber nodes. So that's probably what you should be getting for the Calpheon area as well. You could skip on those tin ore nodes if you want to, but the Calpheon nodes are pretty much the most important nodes in this place. I mean the actual Calpheon crate nodes. So at this point, if you have your setup made as mine, then you should start to make as many junk crates as you can while using those 3 different types of timber from the Calpheon area to process those into plywood. So you have to take those 3 different types of timber, you process those into planks, and then you take the planks and you chop those into plywood. Once you have the 3 different types of plywood, you can just send those through transporting to either a Feria or Trent, wherever you want to craft those Calpheon crates, and you're pretty much set. From now on, probably half of your AFK time will be spent inside Calpheon City chopping down wood to make those crates, and for the other half of the time you will probably be wherever you have your main house to just cook beer for your workers. At least this is the case for me. Most of the time I am either chopping down wood inside Calpheon, cooking in Hydel, or sometimes if I'm out of materials for both of these, I'm just fishing. Now, as the last point that I want to make in this video, because I'm already pretty tired, I want to talk about the blackstone powder that you need to make the crates, because as you know or probably saw already, you need to get 1 blackstone powder for any form of crate you're making. This is why I am saying that when you're making junk crates you're going to be losing money, because those junk crates will not give you back the money you're going to spend on those blackstone powders, and on top of that the raw materials you're using. So junk crates are only meant to give you trading experience and not profit. My way of getting blackstone powder is to just go on the marketplace and search for those gems that are around 60 to 80k each and buy a lot of them, usually around 40 gems of each. So I'm looking for those who are sold on the biggest quantity, and I buy 40 or more of the same gem and I grind them into blackstone powder. Usually I'm doing this pretty rarely, so I just smash the gems until I have 6 or 8,000 blackstone powder, and then I spread them around the cities using the transporting system. With this all being said, I think I'm going to be talking about the rest of my setup in the next episode. So I hope this one helped you improve your worker setup, and for any questions or comments or to just point out what I did wrong, just leave a comment below, and I will see you guys next time.